Okay, so in today's lesson, we're going to look at how we can add two numbers where one or both of them are a mixed fraction. So in this case, we have a question where both numbers are mixed fractions, 2 1/4 plus 3 1/2. How do we add those numbers? Now, one way that we can do this is by turning the numbers into improper fractions first, adding them, and then when we get our answer, we turn it back into a mixed number. So if you remember what we did when we were turning our numbers to improper fractions, we said the answer will be a fraction with only a numerator and denominator. The denominator will be the same number, and the numerator, we multiply our whole number by our denominator and then add the numerator. So let's do that. So let's start with 2 1/4. 2 1/4, 4 is our denominator, so it's the same denominator down here. And then for our numerator, we multiply 2 times 4 plus 1. 2 times 4 is 8, plus 1 is 9, so that's 9/4. And then for 3 1/2, we leave the denominator the same, that's 2. And then it's 3 times 2 plus 1 for the numerator. 3 times 2 is 6, plus 1 is 7. So that's 7/2. So now we have a question where we have just improper fractions, no whole numbers to add. 9/4 plus 7/2. Remember we said if we were going to add these numbers, they had to have the same denominator. Well, they don't. This is 4, this is 2. So we need a number that multiplies or that divides both denominators. And in this case, that number is 4. 4 divides by 4, obviously, and 4 divides by 2. So we have to make both those denominators 4. Well, fortunately, this one is already 4. So we don't have to change this first fraction. But the second fraction, we want to take that 2 and turn it into a 4. And the only way we can do that is by multiplying it by 2, which means we have to multiply both numerator and denominator by 2. So we're going to multiply that by 2 and that by 2, and we get 7 times 2 is 14, 2 times 2 is 4. So our new question now, 9/4, doesn't change. But for our fraction on the top, 7/2 is now 14/4. Same value, just different way of writing it. Now we can add. The denominators are the same, so we can add them. The denominator stays 4, and then 9 plus 14, that's 23/4. Okay. Now the answer that we got at the end there, that is an improper fraction. We want to turn it into a mixed number, because like I said at the beginning of the first lesson in this unit, we don't talk about things in improper fractions in the real world. So we just turn it back into a mixed number, and I showed you how to do that in the first lesson. 23 divided by 4, that's 5, and that's a remainder of 3, so it's 5 3/4. And that's the answer to your question.